Okay, so it's been a little while since I made a video like this, but I really wanted to share this story with you guys because I think it has a lot of value, and I think if it reaches the right person at the right time, it could be very valuable. So I had an experience recently where I got such bad customer service, it almost put me off going on a trip that I was planning on doing. And the reason why I wanted to share it was because I took it quite well, because my mental health is very robust these days, and I kind of thought it almost comical. But there was a time not that long ago where my mental health was very deeply dark, and I was in a horrible place. I had lots of suicidal thoughts, and I was fragile. So the story I'm about to share with you has a positive ending, but the reason why I think it's important is because it could have definitely led to, it could have easily been a catalyst to some undesirable outcomes if it had come to me at a different time in my journey. So I went to book a train ticket recently to go to Paris with my girlfriend. We really want to go see the Cirque du Soleil show. I want to see the Eiffel Tower. I've never been to Paris before. I want to go see the Louvre. Want a nice little couple of days in Paris with my girlfriend. It'll be fun. I live in France, so it's only a 2.5 hour train journey away. I've never caught a train in France before. I have done in the UK, and I realized that you have to book some special assistance in advance of the ticket, and normally it's not a problem. I was on the phone to a guy and he was very unhelpful. Well, he started off quite helpful. We were talking French and English. My French isn't too bad. He spoke English quite well, so we were like conversating in franglais. And at first he seemed quite chipper, he seemed quite helpful. And then for some reason he became very unhelpful. And I don't know why, I don't know what the catalyst was that, I was quite bemused. I had him on speakerphone, Chris was there, and we were like, oh, I don't know what's wrong with this guy. But anyway, he said there's no wheelchair accessible spaces on the train that I wanted to book, which was at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday. Now I rung on Saturday, and Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So that's like, 2 days in advance. And he said 2 days in advance isn't long enough. If you want a wheelchair accessible space on a train, you have to call up at least a month in advance. And I thought, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. But what do I know? This is the first time I've booked a train in France. So, this figure of authority is telling me it on the phone. So I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I have left it a bit last minute. We've left the whole trip to the last minute. Maybe we should have booked sooner. So I said, what about another time? What about 10 o'clock? And he was like, nope. What about 9 o'clock? Nope. And I said, okay, what about 12 o'clock? And this is when he started getting like irritable. And I thought, why? This is your job, man. Like, obviously, if I can't go at 11, I'm going to ask you a different time. And I said, okay, well, what about Wednesday? And he was like, nope. And then I got the impression that he wasn't even looking. He was like, nope, like, there's no way you can book a wheelchair accessible seat next week on a train to Paris. And I was like, oh, okay. Common sense now and hindsight tell me that it's possible. But at the time, I was being told this, and I was like, oh, okay, well, fair enough. We hung up the phone, very deflated. I looked at Chris and she looked at me, and we were like, oh, and I don't know. I said, well, maybe we won't go, right? And there was part of me that thinks, oh, well, if we don't go, I'll have more money in the bank. We can actually watch Cirque du Soleil for free on YouTube. I've seen the Eiffel Tower in countless pictures. I'm sure it looks the same. There's probably, I was weighing the pros and cons of not going. But then I also thought, I'm in the early stages of this relationship. We're going to be together 8 months soon. And I thought, I don't want to set the precedent of like her being with someone who can't travel because he's in a wheelchair. I was like, this is ridiculous. So, but it did leave me feeling quite deflated. Even though my mental health is robust, I definitely felt, and I could see the disappointment in my girlfriend's face. And she was like, oh, well, I guess we're not going then. And I thought, well, okay. It planted the seed of doubt in me, and it started to take roots. And I thought, this is nonsense. And I came home and I had a gummy, wonderfully. Miraculously, I had a shift of perspective, and I thought, I'm not going to let this guy shoot me down, man. I'm pretty sure I can book a bloody train on a seat on a train. And so I went online, and again, I said, call this number. I was like, oh, I don't want to call that number because I don't really, So it just clearly said, book a ticket and then book the special assistance. You can fill out a form and send it, and all it has to be done is 24 hours before travel. I thought, well, this is well in advance. Long story short, I ended up booking the special assistance. Everything seems fine. The train is booked for tomorrow morning, so fingers crossed. We're going to get there, and I should be able to get on the train. like special assistance, I'm not that special. Like I'm a manual wheelchair user, but you need to just get me on the train. It's either a ramp or a lift or just a place for me to sit. It's not wildly, outrageous for me to ask to sit on a train. So the good news is, we've booked the tickets to Cirque du Soleil, we've booked to go to the Louvre, we've booked the hotel, we've booked a wonderful holiday, but we very, very nearly got shot down by a guy who was a bit of a vibe sniper, an absolute buzzkill. And to be honest, a bloody first-class knobhead, right? If I'm honest, he really was really unhelpful. And the point of me sharing this story is because, like I said at the beginning, my mental health is robust. I thought it was quite comical. I was like, oh, well, maybe we won't go, But if I was told that like 9 or 10 months after my injury, when I was in the darkest period of my life, kind of gets me a bit emotional talking about it, to be honest, that would have been enough. Might have been enough to just, put the nail in the coffin, so to speak. Fuck it, seeing the disappointment in my girlfriend's face, it's tough, it's so. I guess the point of this video is, I hope that someone gets something of value of this, is because I want to share the fact that you can do stuff. It's like sometimes people will tell you you can't do things because you're in a wheelchair. And sometimes, they might have the right intentions. They're like, maybe don't roll over those drawing pins because, you might get a flat tire. And you're like, okay, fair enough, and sometimes people are like, yeah, you can't go on a bloody train unless you book a month in advance. Fuck that guy, really, like, he had such, I don't know, man, it gets me quite emotional. I think I want to share this story because I think with the right attitude, you can definitely do stuff. I just came back from a trip with my work colleagues from Bucharest, and we had the most amazing time. It was brilliant. It was really an eye-opening trip for me. For example, like getting around, they thought we'd have to book wheelchair accessible taxis like vans and stuff, and I was like, no, we'll just get an Uber. I transferred into the front seat. They like whipped the wheels off my wheelchair, chucked it in the back seat. The Uber driver was like, oh sweet, okay, cool, like, and it was really fun, and that was really smooth, and it was a great practice run because Bucharest is called Little Paris, and now I'm going to Big Paris, and it was a wonderful trip. It filled me with confidence, but it did just take this one guy to plant the seed of doubt in me, which really ruined my plans. It really kind of ruined my day, ruined my whole day, to be honest. But now we've done it. So it's a positive story. I'm going to go to Paris, and hopefully I'll have a beautiful video that I can share with you when I get back. And maybe I'll do like a little travel vlog. I haven't done one of those in a while. But I guess I haven't even made one of these videos for a while. Like just a fully unedited, like a bit of a rant on my YouTube channel, just talking to the camera. And sometimes these videos are quite popular, they vibe with people. So hopefully this video has vibed with you, and hopefully someone out there needs to hear it. Sometimes there are naysayers that tell you can't do stuff, and sometimes you bloody well can. So go out there and do it. Go out there and smash life, Even though you're in a wheelchair, we can do it, man. We can do it. All right, cool. Right. Love yourselves and each other. See you in the next video. Peace.